January 16th, 2020. What time is it? Anybody got the time?
It's in town.
8:18, as Kathy said.
8:18.
Thank you.
Coming around will be the signatures for this, for the default budget. Also, the posting of the warrant. Sheila, that's got to go around. Also have the check registries going
Oh,
around.
geez, come on.
I know.
Give me a second.
Thank you so much.
They're over
Oh,
there.
I thought they were.
That
What's going
way.
office there?
No,
Sorry. Don't mean to hear the secret stuff.
no secret stuff.
Thanks for giving us. Just gonna say thank you.
Yeah.
Just was up.
While we're going around signing all this stuff, Mr. Duffy, would you like to present what you wanted to present?
Yeah, absolutely, if you guys are ready. Actually, I want to wait till the whole board is here, wherever. Mr.
This is going to be the whole board because
Oh.
Brian's in another meeting. He's in the
Oh,
budget
okay.
committee.
All right, and I will make my presentation, so I'm just gonna read off some of this and some of the quotes for all of you. Members of the school board, in light of last week's meeting, students have shown much disappointment in the tentative plan to comply with the Title IX laws. In response to this, I actively sought the opinions of my peers and students and their elected leaders on their opinions concerning the topic. And the following are a sample of the responses that I received from both male and female students concerning the issue. I'm just going to read a few of them now. I'm not going to read all of them. You can read all of them in your spare time, but I think I'll read a few of the important ones. So, the first quote, the tentative plan shows a misunderstanding of the law and the issue. For the facilities to be truly equal, they must have equal space, and the proposed solution cuts down usable space in the women's locker rooms even more, which creates even more problems. I think the tentative plan would take away a lot of space from the normal girls' locker room. If you're just a normal person going to gym class, it would severely limit the amount of girls you could fit within the normal girls' locker room, which would cause problems for gym class. The tentative plan might force a bunch of girls to be in a smaller area. We have no problem just using the same locker room for team and physical education activities. I have not seen an issue about it. But if you try to divide it in half and make two rooms, then it would make a bunch of girls try to change in a small place, and that might start issues. As well as, I'm hurt by the plan proposed by the athletic director. I think it's a poorly put together plan to create equity, which is not the same as equality. I think it's another way to try and get around the actual law, and that if it were really a priority, then more thought would be put into it. As a female student who is also an athlete here at Timberland, and as someone who is knowledgeable about Title IX, I think the proposed solution, to say the least, is inadequate and does not fix the problem at all, and maybe makes the problem even worse. That said, the student body recognizes that we should be in compliance of the law with expediency and efficiency, but the goal of the school and its operations should not just be compliance with the law. That should be the bare minimum. The goal of the school should be to provide the best opportunities to students that it can, to enable to perform their best in the classroom, as well as on the field, court, and track. Those opportunities should be equal in quality and access in order to abide by the law and do students justice. The proposed solution would only decrease the quality and size of the girls' locker rooms, hurting the students more than the current situation already is. One possible solution discussed by some students is dividing the boys' PE locker room into two, so boys and girls each have two full locker rooms and one smaller sized locker room. On behalf of the student population, I request that this board aid the student population through the development and support of a fair and just solution. I thank you for your attention and anticipated cooperation in this matter. Respectfully submitted, Kyle Duffy, student representative of the school board.
Thank you for this.
Thank you, Kyle.
And a copy for you as well. Thank you.
This is from Warren.
It doesn't grow on me. I need more sugar.
Okay, one of the main items that we were here for meeting tonight, besides just all this clerical work of signing this stuff, was to appoint our district clerk for that, and I have a name that was submitted, a Caitlin Hilbert is interested in the program. She's from Atkinson, 33 years, and Timberline alum. This applying for the position and additional information I need to be provided. And I think everybody knows who this person is. It's Brian's daughter.
Make a motion.
To appoint
Appoint
Caitlin Hilbert
Caitlin Hilbert to the district clerk for the Timberland Regional School District.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Yeah?
I would ask the board to consider the compensation for this particular position. I think it's a lot of work for, I'm not sure the exact number, I think it's $150. I think that's, I don't think that is even close to what we should be thinking about for compensation. I don't say that as a drive to try to get someone to do it, I just think it's the right thing to do to compensate someone for their time. It's a lot of work, so it's just something for your,
Do you have a number in mind?
I mean, I don't want to, 1,500?
That's what I was thinking. Really?
And then we didn't talk. So, I'm just.
No, I definitely agree the $100 is basic.
It's 150 a
Or
meeting.
150. It's
So-
almost an insult.
Yeah, so when we had that recall, and everybody had to, we had to recall for that vote, they get for every time they set up a meeting, they get that.
So that was $450 for the season.
Yeah, and all the stuff they do.
Right.
How about this? How about we
the-
agree,
that
as
was-
it's a board consensus, that we agree that to address this matter, instead of coming up with a dollar amount tonight, I don't think Caitlin is stepping into this role for the $150.
No.
I agree. Can we call the motion at least?
Call the
to make sure
motion,
we don't
and
forget
then,
that?
And consider,
I do agree, we should,
At a future meeting.
at a future meeting. So, I want to call the question, unless there's any more discussion on it.
oh, okay.
All right, I'm going to call the question. All those in favor? And
Five.
it's unanimous.
6, 7,
Minus Brian.
7-0.
Brian's in the-
7-0.
Budget
Nine
committee.
there.
Yes.
And can we put that on the next agenda that we have
Yep.
on the 20th, is it?
Kathy's got it.
I mean, I'd like to know, what the actual number is. I do think
Yeah.
it's 150, but,
it is 150.
It is 150 per meeting, correct?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's typical in other areas?
I don't think that the superintendent was speaking specifically about the meetings. The 150 for the meetings is what everybody gets. Supervisors, the checklist, they get it and everything else. It's the work that's behind that. For example, there's the ballot work. There is the invoicing of all the work that's associated with deliberative session and supervisor with the checklist. And the time certifying information, being available the evenings of the vote to receive all the input from the towns, certify that information and then disseminate that as appropriate. So there's some real time involved in that.
And then watching the meeting, and then transcribing your notes to minutes, and then making sure the time stamps are accurate. There's just a lot of time they put in to do that work.
So can we still do the per meeting and then just give an additional stipend that goes with the position, so?
Sure, I mean, it's up to you how you want to compensate for it.
Yeah, I mean,
As
this
long
would all
as
be
you
a great
consider
part of
we'll
that
talk about it,
discussion.
yeah.
when we
Yep.
discuss it.
And you're getting a lawyer to do the
Yeah,
best work.
no, I think it's working out perfect.
Let's make sure we're glad that, we haven't voted, yes, we did vote.
We did.
That she stepped up to help us out here.
Yeah, she did.
She's a young mother, she's got other things on her plate.
That is true.
All right, what else do we have?
The other thing too is is the motion that we worked with legal counsel, and I'm gonna read it. It's the motion that I will be seeking is what I have in front of me here. It's per advice of legal counsel, that the board is obligated by law to bargain in good faith over all terms and conditions of employment with all the bargaining units in the district. The superintendent is no longer authorized to modify the terms and conditions of employment for the members of the bargaining unit in the district outside of collective bargaining, including but not limited to issuing discretionary merit pay increases or modifying any other mandatory terms and condition of employment, and to further affirm that the board is committed to upholding its duty to negotiate in good faith with all bargaining units in the district. So that is the recommendation of council and putting that in our motion form. And so I would seek that motion by the board.
I'll make that motion.
Okay?
I'll second for discussion.
Okay,
I just
second.
want to clear something in my head.
Okay. go ahead.
Second, so we're just talking right now about the two bargaining units that we have
that are in negotiations right now, am I correct? Because obviously it's the other, TTA's already reached their agreement, it's gonna go to the voters agree, they get theirs, so this is basically while we're
In negotiation.
in negotiations,
With the
correct,
union.
where we have not come to an agreement. Okay, that's all I need to know.
I think the only people now not in a bargaining unit, Kathy, help me with this, is just the custodians and then people that
Landscapers.
aren't eligible to be in obviously,
Facilities people.
certain positions, right, I think.
But these are the two newest unions we're talking about,
Right.
because there are no agreements.
Admin assistants,
Okay.
maintenance, and administrators. Those are the two that you're speaking about?
Yeah, so administrative assistants, secretaries, bookkeepers,
Yeah, that's the TAM.
maintenance facilities, are they in that union?
Maintenance, skilled maintenance workers are. Mhm.
Okay, but not what I
But not
call
custodians.
janitors, but custodians.
Custodians
Are
are
not
not,
in
right.
that union.
Right, I think they're the only unaffiliated, other than people that by law can't be affiliated. I
Gotcha.
believe that to be
Yeah.
true, unless there's
I
an
think you're
outlier
right.
somewhere that I'm not catching with that, but I think that's pretty much it.
All right.
So I do like the language there, and we had discussed this the last time we met, about our obligation to negotiate in good faith. Not walk away, not, and whatever our negotiators, whoever that committee is, bring back to the table, we as a board support, not we as an individual support, but we, the board, support that negotiations. That's the point I was trying to make the other night, that we need to show good faith in negotiating and bargaining.
Any other comments?
I'm good.
All right, want to call a question? All those in favor? That's unanimous. Okay. I had no other
You
issues.
can address, there's the warrant, so there's 2 citizen petitions on that, and the board has the opportunity to make a recommendation on them. They're both money ones. I think the budget committee may be making a recommendation on them because they do involve money. Does the board wish to take action to recommend, because that's what's gonna go on the warrant
For the deliberative session.
for deliberative session, yeah? Yeah. And then after deliberative session, you have the opportunity to change your,
We don't have to do it now? We can wait till
well,
after.
if it
changes.
if it modifies on the floor,
Yeah.
there's citizens petitions. Have you ever seen a citizen's petition get modified on the floor?
Right,
That
so,
would, and that would allow you the opportunity to change your recommendation if you wanted to. Are you disagreeing with me, Attorney O'Shea?
No, it's just a can of worms, that's all.
What's the can of worms?
All the all these petition warrant articles.
Well, are you suggesting
They
that we
complicate
don't,
things.
that we
do you
wait?
think we should just wait until we hear what the rationale is from the
I mean,
petitioner?
we haven't heard anything, we have no presentation, why?
idea
We're just
why.
seeing the words, just like everybody, we all saw it tonight.
So you can wait
It's
until
deliberative after. a
You're not really
presentation.
asking for legal advice.
Ethical advice, moral advice?
I have a procedural question.
Yeah, whether you can change it if you don't do it now after the,
Can you do it after deliberative session, even if you did not do it in the first place?
I don't know off the top of my head.
If we have-
I mean, I can look it up, I'd have to read the statute right now.
That was the Salem case, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I thought
Because
you were
didn't they want
supposed
to do it, but they hadn't done, or they hadn't?
They changed their votes and I believe the articles were not
Weren't
changed.
Yeah.
So that's the
That for
problem.
sure is a thing. Yeah, you
Right.
can't,
So-
the only thing I know for certain in the statute you can do is you can change your vote if the article is changed,
Right.
obviously, right?
Even a word is changed, we could
Yeah,
change a vote.
a cent.
But what if you have a different board at that point? I mean, we have 7 here tonight, and we have 9 on deliberative. The other 2 people were disenfranchised and not able to cast their vote on that merit, so then what would you do? Just say those 2 people are allowed to talk?
The tally always reflects the actual number of people present voting. If you're gonna tally it, it would be 7-0, because there's only 7 board members here. That's the way it is. They weren't here, they don't get to have their
right.
vote reflected.
Gotta be here to participate.
That's.
Or they could have called in.
I'll call them.
But we ran into that, I think, in the budget committee a few years ago with people that weren't there, and then they wanted to vote after the deliberative, and it was a problem.
I mean, I-
Gorman, I think, was the issue.
This is a lot of information to digest. You guys, I don't think have had a lot of time to think through. I mean, I haven't, I read these petition warrant articles, there's like a lot going on, and they're complicated. So to take a position now before you really had a chance to digest it, I think would be a little bit premature, and there's no harm in not doing anything, and a lot of districts don't vote at all on petition warrant articles for that very reason.
Even if there's money involved.
Yeah, you don't have to, unless you've, I don't know, you haven't, the voters have never directed.
No, the only thing the law says is that if you do it, you have to put the tally in.
Yeah.
But you're not mandated to do it.
Yeah, exactly. The
Right.
voters
I
have
think that's
never
right.
mandated that this board always take a vote and reflect a numeric tally. Like that's, some districts, and the voters
we
can do
adopted
that,
that.
some districts,
But if we don't take a vote now,
you can't change a vote because you're not changing a vote.
right, so we can definitely do it after delib, even
No.
if we don't do it
No,
now.
it's either
Only
now
if
or,
changes.
Yeah.
Or take a chance that there will be change to the petitioned article in the wording. I don't know.
So if we don't
All
take a
abstain?
position now, we wouldn't be able to do it after the deliberation.
Abstain.
Right.
unless it changes.
I don't understand either of the articles or
I
the
don't know
reason
the
why,
answer
so
to
I'd
that last
abstain.
piece, like, I don't know if you can change the non-action. Fair enough.
Doing
That's what I'm
nothing.
saying, I don't,
I don't know.
my default until I do more research is that I don't think, if you don't take a vote now, you're not going to be taking a vote after deliberative. I think you do, but I want to look that up because
How about this, what if everybody abstained, that's a vote, and then you could change that?
if they're changed,
If there's
If
even
there's a
a word
change.
change in
That's
the
smart.
article.
And then it's still, there's
So
still
if there's no word
abstentions.
change, it goes on the ballot that we all abstain.
Right.
Which means we took
Which is
no
what you wanted
position, which I
anyway.
don't think is.
We don't wanna do that.
Or they-
Well,
or
let
they
me-
vote.
Better than
So-
voting yea or nay when you don't even know.
so here's, hold on, I'm reading the law,
Just
like I said I would,
nobody came to
and I
shut
found it.
up.
Thank you.
It says, when any purpose of appropriation submitted by a governing body or by petition appears in the warrant as part of a warrant article, the article shall contain a notation of whether or not that appropriation is recommended by the governing body in the budget committee.
That's the appropriation one, yeah.
If the article is amended at the first session, the governing body in the budget committee may revise its recommendation.
So we need to make a recommendation.
Yeah, we do.
Wow.
We do,
Let's get on
because
over.
then we wouldn't be able to,
Right, so let's look at number 9. We're gonna have to guess what the intent of this person was.
I'm gonna vote no because the person wasn't here to
I'm
present it.
gonna
and
vote
then-
no because this has already been addressed in the withdrawal
But
plan.
not only that, then come to
And tell us
deliberative and
that.
present it, and if you want us to change the vote, then change $1, you can buy a buck. Just changing it by $1 changes the amount and allows us to revote it. So my position right now is no, if you can't come here and present, then you're not gonna get it, I'm not gonna approve it. And I don't wanna abstain, and then if it doesn't change, be stuck with
I agree with
abstentions.
that, and I agree with that, because I
So-
know it's been,
It's been addressed.
All right, so I'm gonna seek a motion to not recommend warrant
No,
article.
it's
No,
not.
it's
to recommend.
To recommend.
And then you vote no. Yeah,
Take a-
don't do the double
Motion
negatives.
is to, yeah.
A motion to recommend warrant article number 9 by
I'll make the motion just to get
And
it on
I'll
the
second
floor.
it to get it on the floor.
Okay.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion?
Well, Kim, can you discuss a little bit the thinking here that we will have covered that 228 or?
no, we're on 9.
9 is the
We're 9, it's the
228.
628,000.
28.
This,
We have
my
that.
guess, the thinking is that there are ongoing healthcare liabilities that the SAU has. This number, I'm not really sure where that number got pulled out, but the number that we're paying out per year right now is between 7 and 10,000.
Sorry.
It's like the extra, I don't know, 1,200, 1,500 that we're paying to certain people that
Yeah,
are retired.
1,600 to
Yeah,
help cover
yeah,
their
that's
health
what it is.
payments.
So
So why
this is like an actuarial calculation of if those people live till their average age,
95 and
blah, 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 this
How
is
much
what
would
you
you
would
pay?
pay.
Recommended not to.
Yes, it's a liability incurred when we withdraw from the SAU regardless.
We voted to do it.
So to have to put it aside in the trust fund, it's something that we are gonna have to, in the withdrawal plan, it addresses the fact that we will continue to honor those. I don't know why you wanna put money in a trust fund on that, just let it sit there.
Yeah.
Especially because then what happens is you may end up only needing 150,000. Now you have a trust fund, which Kristen probably knows this, I'm a trustee of trust fund, is that now you've got to go to the court, right, to get rid of a trust fund. You can't just close a trust fund. We'd have to then spend the money to petition the court to
No,
close.
the voters
Voters can
close
do
it.
it, you can ask them to do
You
it.
have a
Yeah.
warrant article to dissolve
So
the trust fund.
I just,
We do in
there's
town.
no reason to put this in there.
As long as you can tell me that going
Has to.
forward, in our Timberlane, new Timberlane SAU, there will be continuing money to fund those
Did you read the
liabilities.
withdrawal plan?
Yes, but I'm asking you face to face, tell me that that's gonna
As
happen.
stated in the withdrawal
Thank you.
plan, there will be that. Now, you're against the withdrawal, so I'm not really sure how you're gonna vote here.
I was
And-
against
and
the
I'm-
article. You didn't
What?
ask me if I was against withdrawal,
You're against the article,
I'm
so
against
why
the
are you
article.
against the article?
because it didn't have any money in it. And I thought that was not very transparent.
The article, my understanding
But-
is the
but
article
the-
has
but
to
the-
be written at per RSA, is that correct, Jen?
But the motion on the floor is to approve this article.
No, I'm just
Not
trying
to
to
question
understand.
why I voted the way I voted.
Well, it pertains to this article, so I think it's a pertinent question to ask, 'cause-
Well, I've answered it.
So-
And I asked you if you
Okay,
can
wait,
guarantee
wait.
there's gonna be money going forward, and you said yes, so, okay.
Okay, so do you understand now that the warrant article as written for the withdrawal cannot be changed?
It can't have any money attached.
It can't have money attached to it.
That's per RSA.
So you voted against,
I felt there should be money in this. Or,
Is that a yes? Yes.
you can't put money in that warrant article.
okay, you said that 4
Okay,
times now.
so
Thank you
call
for
the-
saying
call the
that 4
question.
Does that
times.
change your vote for the withdrawal warrant article? Because we can revote that right now too.
I think we're on Article 9.
Well, I think we'll need to go back to that one because apparently it wasn't clear. Okay, so this is why I'm against it. It's dictated, the plan lays out. And
Plus, I don't
Timberlane-
think we should withdraw. I don't think there's any necessity to separate these two groups. That's my second reason. I know you worked really hard, and I'm applauding you for your hard work and that committee's hard work. Just like you've applauded me for my hard work with CIP over the years I did on this board. However, we're on Article 9.
We'll go back to the other article because I think it stands for a revote now that it's been clarified.
You're gonna bully me
You
into?
lose 2 people if you revote it.
I didn't bully you. You
sound
just
like
made it
it's
clear
two
that you
votes.
didn't
No.
understand the warrant article as it was written. It's not bullying. You just said that you thought there
We
should be
didn't bully,
money.
we didn't bully Sheila or Lee about their votes, about the budget.
If you revote the other one, you're gonna lose 2
I
votes.
think they understood the budget. I don't think, anyway, let's move on.
Can we follow my train of thought? If you revote the other thing, you lose 2
I
votes.
understand that. I understand that.
I can leave.
You don't need to leave.
I'm not running away yet, so.
All right, well, let's
Okay.
call the
Can we go
question.
back to Article
Move
9?
on.
Article 9 vote was to recommend it. All those in favor?
Is to vote
Who's
to no.
recommending it?
Right.
Anybody saying, yes, they want to do this?
0.
All-
0.
All those against? Or nays?
7.
All those abstain?
Oh, 6. Sorry.
061.
Okay. Move on to warrant article 10.
So my guess on this one,
Let's put on the floor first. Move to recommend Article 10. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded.
I don't think this is confusing, but there's already $100,000 in the proposed budget.
Right, so I thought it was gonna be to take out that $100,000. I thought that was the petition. And then I read it again, it said, no, they want another 100,000?
That's the way it's written.
But we,
Now, should this not pass, should this pass, that does not negate
The
the,
100,000.
no, it does not negate the withdrawal, does it?
No, it says if
No.
is
So-
approved.
The law defines that the withdrawal happens if there's a 3/5 vote. I mean, it's,
Right.
Standard.
that's conclusive of a withdrawal, like, and so whether,
So regardless of what happens with 9 and 10,
no.
The
we're not gonna be
withdrawal
prohibited with going forward or using money
Yeah.
if it's needed to
So
go
that
forward.
creates that whole no means no thing, and I suspect there's maybe a little bit of that happening. If you have money in the budget that's allocated for this, and there's a special warrant article Does a special warrant article being voted down, like, prevent you from spending the money that you've already allocated in your operating budget? I don't think so. It would seem
Well, this-
illogical to me.
But what if we end up in default?
Yeah.
And then these,
So I think this is RSA 3210, which is the transfer of appropriation statute that contains this vague no means no language. The DRA will support the position that if there are necessary expenditures to operate the district or carry out your lawful duties, you still have to do those things. You can't not. So you'll have to find money in the default budget to pay for whatever necessary expenses arise out of withdrawal if that vote passes.
we wouldn't be precluded though from going
No,
forward with
you-
withdrawal if this passes?
No,
Failed, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, failed.
Okay.
no.
I'm not sure what
We
time.
all
I
set?
just don't know why they're doing it.
Call the question. All those in favor? 0. All those against? And all those abstained? 061.
Too bad they didn't present tonight.
So, do we have a snow date or a makeup date if February 6th doesn't happen to deliberative?
To the moderator.
So, yeah.
We sort of don't have anything.
It's typically, the last time we went Friday night, right? Was that?
Yeah.
Friday, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's no,
because
so,
the moderator is the only one who can call it, and what he would do is that he would probably open it and continue it versus having a snow date. We talked about, I believe you advised us to take the snow date off the calendar. I think you did, sir, because of that purpose. And then only the moderator can
Can I change
can
my
delay
opinion?
or change that. It's not anything that the board could do. He would make that determination, and then he could open it and then continue it to another date, and that date, the 6th, serves as the actual deliberative session date.
And Mr. Randlett's still planning on being on that, as far as I've known when I've talked to him, he's still planning
Yeah,
that.
I'm not sure.
Can he open the session without a quorum then?
I think so.
Right, so like,
Because he calls it, yeah.
no, seriously, right?
No, Kyle,
It's a school
good
board
point.
meeting.
Like,
So just one thing to keep in mind is,
It's
you
an
know, it's just
annual meeting.
confirming,
Yeah.
you
Yeah. By the
you
school
can
board.
only delay it by 48 hours or less. So what day is
It'd have to be
the?
Friday.
we would
It's
do
a
it Friday,
Thursday.
and if we couldn't do it Friday, it'd be Saturday. That was what we said last time.
Yeah, you just keep-
And we kept those days open.
Saturday would be good, because
At
I'd
that
be able to
gym.
miss my local one.
Yeah, that would be nice.
The likelihood is we'd be able to do it by the next day.
Yeah.
It's just about clearing the snow. Because we got pounded 3 or 4 years ago, whatever. We were able to still do it Friday night. We couldn't do, there was no way we could do it Thursday. But you guys stood out in the snow and did it anyway, right? The voting, that was the voting.
Well,
day,
it's
yeah.
voting.
Oh, that was the other than one time.
We also did move the deliberative session that year.
Glad you-
Another, Article 4, when that was getting read tonight, that got really confusing. With the numbers we were
Oh.
looking at and the numbers that we.
Yes, so
Are
what?
we sure that these are the correct numbers that are
Yeah.
in here, right?
Yeah, so what
I mean-
happened was, there are two different things going on in this warrant article in terms of money. Is that they're getting a salary increase, and those percentages are correct, but we also added another day to their contract, and we also gave them something else.
With some insurance.
Yeah, we increased their insurance, we bumped it up so it was equal with the teachers, to make it equitable. So when you add all those in, that's what those 5.5% were, but that's
Yeah.
not the actual salary.
That's not the salary.
So we
Right,
need
so-
to,
It just
And-
wasn't clear, that got
Yeah, the
very
percentage-
confusing and deliberative, I'd hate to see it
the
be
intent
like
is gonna
that.
be written again.
Yeah, and so,
Okay.
yeah, we'll make sure, but the percentage raises need to be, but then there's the how much additional cost
Yeah.
for doing it. Like, for instance, if there was a healthcare, just think if you were going the other way and they gave a bunch of money back in healthcare and you put that in salary,
Yeah,
you may see no increase in money,
Right.
right?
Right.
It'll
No,
say
right.
like 53,000,
Yeah.
50, whatever, so. But we gotta make sure that it doesn't look like they're getting 5% and 6% raises and have that be misled to the public.
right, I mean, yeah,
That's-
the way he was reading it, if you weren't, it just kind
Yeah,
of,
well, we
it
agree.
got very confusing sitting there, and I hate to see somebody deliberative question this and make a big deal where we all support it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it come across clean and
I
move
think we're
forward,
gonna
so.
take, the intent will be changed so that there's
Just a
the
salary
raises,
increase only.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then, well, but we also, not just the salary, but we need to reflect this entire amount, because this is
Yeah, just
salaries,
and it doesn't, it's not a percent, it's a dollar amount we put there.
that's a dollar amount. But on the intent, there should be,
The intent is
The-
only what's on the
It's only on the
slideshow.
slide.
It's
It's
never-
on the ballot.
yeah.
The actual-
but you see what I'm saying? You
intent
want to
statement
put
on
the
the
percent
ballot.
increases
Yeah.
on the salary, then you want to put the cost of the extra day, and then the cost of insurance.
If you're
'cause
gonna
that's
put
what
that
all
in the
goes-
intent.
Well,
If you're gonna
I
do
think
that
you
at
should,
all.
I mean, you should, so,
We've never done it
Show where all the
before.
money is, because you don't want to show that it's a, almost a 6% increase.
Yeah, I don't wanna show that, so to be honest with you, I think that'll turn people away from voting for the, we've never shown all the benefit stuff, we've just shown the salary increases.
Well, we
at
just put the
2,
dollar
2.5.
amount. We just put the dollar amount.
Yeah,
Like,
we
there
only
was-
put the dollar
Oh,
amount
you just
in
wanna-
the article.
you just want to show the salary increases? You don't want to tell the voters about the fact that there's more money because that we increased our
I don't
health
think you need
benefits?
to do that.
No, you do, you have to talk about how much additional cost there is in the collective bargaining agreement. If it, no matter what, how you got to that
Do
number.
it by dollar.
Right. The opposite is true, like if you saved all the money in healthcare because of some huge concession and gave it to them in salary, there's no additional tax burden.
But if this is left the way this paper we got tonight was,
Yeah.
and I read it and
No.
went,
No, we're not leaving it
What?
that way.
No,
Yeah,
no.
that's, I just wanted to.
That looks like,
clear that up.
The
the way that's
intent-
written looks,
I got a 5%
Correct.
salary.
The intent is something
bump.
that we control, and that we
And
can
it
change
won't
that.
goes
I
on
think
the
it's just a
ballot.
matter of like breaking down what the agreed upon percentage increase is to the salaries. And then the next number can be what the actual costs are.
Okay, I hear you.
And I think you can show both things. And the printout shows cost, the presentation shows what the percentage increase that was agreed upon. So
Right.
that's really what it is.
so the intent slide though should come from the bargaining, how you want it written from the people that
From the
structure the
bargaining.
deal.
So if somebody wants to give me the numbers.
Yeah, we give, we just, how you want
I
it,
think you understand what I'm saying.
spot on. Yeah, we agreed, when I saw that, I was like,
Shouldn't be.
yeah, but we gotta make sure it's fixed on, we gotta make sure the current intent slide is fixed on what was
Yeah.
posted online
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
People-
It
That's
says
where I was like,
increase
we
in
got this
salary
screen, we got this thing, we got something online, we got 3 different versions.
Yeah.
Two of which are the same.
Or it was in the audience.
Anybody
probably
have
going,
anything
"No."
else?
I'd like to talk about Article 6 a minute here. This is the one that we originally discussed being, it started with $1 million, and we're gonna make it kind of vague, and all of a sudden we're doing just roofs, the middle school.
I'll speak to that.
And it doesn't say if the proposed budget fails.
Yeah, I did catch on that. I mean, I think we
Weren't we
can
gonna
fix
do
that.
that?
Yes, I didn't, like I said, I did not.
So this looks like we're gonna ask you for another 500,000, who
Regardless,
cares what the
right.
budget does?
Yeah, That's
Yeah, how did
deliberative.
that
But
get
just
dropped
as a
out there?
roof.
How did
We
that-
could, we could make
Same
a,
question.
an amendment to say, if the operating budget, whatever warrant article that is,
Yeah.
What are they
fails.
doing?
then
What are
continue.
they, I have no idea why.
What?
Because you're making the assumption that you want it conditioned on the operating budget
And we
passing.
don't know what the
But you don't
numbers-
control the operating budget.
No.
And they're in there finalizing the operating budget, so you want to make sure that you're doing whatever you're doing in conjunction with whatever the budget committee is doing.
Not really, because this is just saying, if the operating, this should be prefaced saying, should Article 1 fail?
What Jim's alluding to, if
Yeah,
they
so-
take all the capital money out of the proposed budget,
What if they
That
take
might change.
$500,000 out of the operating budget? Because they saw this in there without the conditional language in it.
Right. Well,
So-
Brian's gonna speak to it. Brian knows that this has conditional
hope-
language. should
But it
have
doesn't.
conditional
Yeah,
language.
okay, I'm just saying.
I mean, I can go run over.
That's what I was suggesting. you do.
This will be
Want me to run over
agreed
to
on
Yes.
Thursday night.
I would make sure you know what they're doing
They're
before
gonna
you.
vote on this, and if we're gonna change it, they need to know we
Brian
change
Brian
it
should know
before
that.
they vote on it.
You need to know what they're doing before you change that.
I'm glad you offered to run over. Go, Kim,
So
go.
that's what I would recommend.
All right, we're gonna take a recess
Take a
until she
recess
gets
here.
back.
Because I know our discussion talked about,
Yeah, they now understand.
Okay.
They-
We're back
they
in
were-
session
They
now.
were a little
Are
confused
you?
by it too.
Perfect.
Thank
Did
you.
I didn't turn it back on?
Yeah,
No, no,
it's on.
it's
on.
all set. I think-
I can't reach the button.
So, yeah, we have to,
So how do you want to
we have to
address
address this at the floor then, to
No,
change it.
we do it right
No,
now.
you
Change your
It's
article.
not fun.
That's why you're meeting.
We're meeting.
To
You can't add
finalize
money.
the warrant.
You're not, it's not even your, you can't add money to these articles, but
We can change the
But you
language.
can change the language, it's fine, to
Okay.
insert a
So
clause
there should be a
is.
phrase there.
It should be, should Article 1 fail? Is that the appropriate word?
Should Article
Two,
is
Article
Article 2,
two.
the operating budget.
Should Article 2 fail?
Do you want to rip that? You want mine to rip it out? to give-
Yeah.
Do you need
I
it?
got it. Should Article 2 fail, shall the voters of the community, blah, blah, blah. Is that what you want to say?
Yes.
And you want it, why is it just middle school roofs? I don't
Okay,
get it.
here's the reason. You have got to specify what the intent of the money is. I looked at the CIP, saw that there was about 190 in roofs for this year and about 900,000 in for the following year.
Yeah.
It's an article, it's something that needs to be done, one. Two, if this fails and the default passes, we're not gonna be able to do it anyway, unless it's a major. And, we're going to, and I asked Earl to get us a quote for up to 500,000. So I don't wanna put 500,000, because that, if I see a round number like that, it makes me think that we're just, you know.
We're
So
gonna get 499.
We're gonna find something, we're gonna find roofs up to that number.
Okay.
At the middle school.
At the middle school, because they need to be done, and as Brian said, I think voters will be okay with.
And because we had discussed roof, HVAC, or ventilation,
Ventilation.
and what was the other one? Management systems, which is all part of that roofing situation, as part of it.
Well, the HVAC is not, this, again,
It says
you got
roof
500,000,
ventilation.
we have over 1.2 million in roofing in the next 2 years for the
Right.
middle school, so that's why I just
Okay.
put roofing. I mean, if somebody says, well, I don't think anybody's gonna yell at you if you spend some money on HVAC while you're doing the roof, because to me, it could be part of the roofing.
Well,
Question.
another question. Couldn't we address that if there's surplus?
The middle school roof?
No, the HVAC and the,
Yeah, you could always do that.
Yeah.
do you get what I'm
Right.
saying? Couldn't
The
we address
surplus,
those two things also?
There's
And-
also 500,000 in the default budget.
You gotta see
so-
what your budget
Right.
ends up in. Are you in default, or you're in the proposed, and then? we
Correct, but
could
what I'm
make some
saying is,
changes.
we potentially have surplus
Which is what
left
we
over that
did.
we can
Which is what we
encumber
did.
to.
Yep.
Mhm.
You will have access to some sum of money this spring, like you do every spring, it's just you don't want to hear about it the first meeting or second meeting in June. And say, hey, can you do something? Can you do something by July 1? Well, it's happened a bunch of times, but it happened this year, but,
Well,
We're
I
gonna
mean-
get
That's
a
why
list
you
of
need to
projects
commit
ahead
to
of
the
time,
CIP.
correct? So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
so,
The
when we
CIP
find out
tells
that
you what
number,
you
we
should
can
do.
look.
I think if you take an action by April to say, do these projects with what you think is going to be
Right,
part of your surplus.
right.
so I think
Yeah.
it's kind of it's well-rounded.
So-
But we know the middle school has to be done.
Well, I looked at the CIP to make the decision
Okay.
as to what, because you can't have a vague warrant article.
No,
and
I
it
just
seemed
didn't think, I hadn't thought, did we vote on that?
We didn't discuss, we didn't have the time. I mean,
We kind of
We
put
were-
it through it together.
kind of,
All right, so it's gonna, you're gonna add, so somebody needs to make an amendment to this article then to add
Do we need
should
to? Because
Article
we
2.
talked
do we have
about
to
it,
like
probably
vote
is.
this?
Well, you didn't vote did you do the first ones? You may have voted the first ones.
We recommended the first one with the
Recommended.
understanding it was going to
Going to
already
be-
say that language.
Right.
Okay, so then maybe not.
So-
I mean, you're,
And Kim,
Cleaned up the language.
you mentioned the word up to before. Are you saying you're looking for quotes up to 500,000? You want to add the words up to between appropriate and
no, you
500,000?
can't use up to anymore. The
Yeah.
DRA doesn't want us to use
You
that
can
word.
only
Okay.
use up,
You're gonna,
I mean,
They want fixed dollar
we're
amounts.
gonna have a fixed dollar amount. We're not, the dollar amount should not be
Yes.
500,000.
Okay, so you're saying the quotes you were looking for were up to
You're gonna have to
500,000?
re-vote it because you changed
Yes,
it.
I don't want to, we don't
Let's
want to
re-vote
quote
it.
for the whole roof.
Yeah.
We want something a
That-
little under 5,
Yes.
so.
And you can change it again, as long as it's before the final date, I don't know,
Which
whatever.
is January 30th, maybe?
It's not that much time, it's like the last Monday in January or something.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't increase it though, you can decrease the amount.
Which is, so if you get the quotes and they come in at $495,000 on
The
the
direct-
session, we can say we actually have the quotes now. We
That-
want to amend this to
I'd
that
leave it at the
number.
5, give you the wiggle room for overage.
Yes,
You can always
I'd leave it at the
increase it
5.
on.
I know, but I'm just
Right.
saying, I mean,
Increase it
whatever
a little
he,
bit.
we can increase it.
if we're trying to make it look, because like Kim said, sometimes people just say 500,000 and assume we're willy-nilly pulling a number out of the air to go with, whereas if we sit at deliberative and say, we have quotes for 492,000, it makes it more palatable to some people to think they've already researched it, they have this, and they can do it for that amount, so.
Right.
The directive was to get the quote and with a contingency of, when I asked Brian, whatever the industry standard is it 10% or 15%
Yeah.
over what you think it would? So we're
So-
working that out, so Jeff and,
Right.
Gary's working on it with Jeff, and so I anticipate a slide that says, these are the projects and this is the
Right.
cost, and here's the contingency piece, and so it's $438,550, something like
You're
that.
right, we may leave it at 500.
We might just, at
Let's
least,
leave it at 500, because 435 is pretty close.
but we know we don't
Well,
want to
I-
go
I-
above five,
that-
so.
No, that's
just-
building in a contingency.
That's with a, it would say contingency at whatever, I
Okay.
asked Brian, what is it, 10%, 15%?
Yeah, if it comes in at 4, you build in a 10%, so, and just so you know, I personally, I don't know how the board feels, if it goes to 575, 600, I mean, as long as we have a set project,
That we can put
we
numbers
just kinda
in.
wanna
Okay.
be around a $500,000.
Yeah, they were told to come in, get it in under 5, so we'll see what it comes in at, but
Yeah, but
they're looking at what the
If it makes
project.
sense to do something and it's 5.25, let's do that though. Like, we don't wanna,
Right,
Well,
so
when you get,
stop at
when you can quote, you can see what the quote was on, and then,
Okay, as long as we've added that sentence.
Do we
or that
need to
phrase
make
at the
a
beginning.
motion to amend this?
Yeah.
Yes.
oh, I don't think so, because this was,
No, Jim's saying yes, we just.
we were just saying
Yeah.
yes.
So-
Well, we gotta add we didn't vote on the other one. To add the verbiage for if operating budget.
That's what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
that's what we're talking
So
about.
I'll make a motion to amend Article 6 to add the words, should
Should
Article
Article
2 fail.
I'll second that motion.
Should we add in there the Article 2, the operating budget, comma, go
No.
that way? It's-
No.
No, should Article 2 fail, shall the voters of the Timberlane Regional School District raise and appropriate?
They can flip back and look at
Yeah.
Article 2 and see, if they're coming in and voting no, they know Article 2 is the operating budget, so
Yeah.
they're okay.
So you made the motion?
I
Yeah.
agree.
Kim seconded?
Now I have a question.
Okay.
Then I,
So just for clarification. So Article 2 fails, and then this fails, because now we're putting in specific language about the middle school roof for maintenance and repairs.
Yeah,
We have a problem with the middle school roof. Do we now have a no means no situation?
yeah, probably.
That's why
Potentially.
I'm
wanted to
concerned.
make-
Do you guys retain fund balance?
Yes.
yes.
So I think the solution there is you'll have fund balance retention and you can ask the commissioner and DRA for permission to spend it in an emergency.
I just wanna make sure we have an
That
avenue.
would be my fallback, and the superintendent and I talked about it, I mean, if you have an actual emergency, you fix the emergency and you deal with the consequences, you're not gonna
Right.
shut the school down.
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have consequences for not doing it. If you-
right,
if you
I
needed
mean,
a
we're
roof, you
trying,
could
and
get
if it, right,
I mean,
right.
Well,
So-
and I think if Brian was here, he would be saying, who wouldn't vote to have a roof fixed?
Well,
And,
That's
and I
that was
agree with
why-
that, however, we know there are a lot of people that are just gonna vote no, because it's got a dollar
Oh,
sign, it
yeah.
could be $5 or 5 million, and they're gonna vote no either way, so I just wanna make sure we have an out that involves that we have.
The
an issue.
backup plan is that, find the biggest tarp at Home Depot and get some 2x4s.
And there you go. And then have one person from each town come hold the corner, take shifts.
one from each town,
One from each town, hold
definitely.
the corner, and that's it, so.
Well, remember, and
Two
I'm
from
sure our
Blastow.
facilities
five
person,
corners, sorry.
I'm sure our facilities person knows this. This 500,000 is going to be specified for certain sections of the roof. Those are not the most dire need of the sections of the roof, because those are already in the
As I said, we're
500,000.
fixing those.
Yeah,
So
These are more roofing.
this is more roofing.
There's
we're
well
not-
over $1 million in the middle school roofs that gotta get done.
Yeah,
So if they
so-
say no, this would be roofing that's a
We're
little,
doing something different, we're not painting that door, we're painting that door. It's a different door.
Had they on that presentation when we did roof
Okay.
Okay, call the question. All those in favor of adding that language? Aye, unanimous?
So now it
We
shows
voted.
it,
Okay,
7-0-0.
revote to recommend.
I'll make a motion to recommend Article 6.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. Call for a vote. All those in favor?
7-0.
7-0.
Can you tell me who, you guys did that really fast, who motioned it?
Lee,
Who
seconded by
seconded it?
Sheila.
Thank you. And that was unanimous as well.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else?
We gonna do a quick non-meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
are we going to non-meeting or?
We're going to non-meeting with council.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think we really helped Jim Hanley.
You're the council.
Yeah, you're not leaving, Jim.
We turning this off?
Are you adjourning?
Yeah.
the
No,
meeting?
it's still only 9:05.
All right, we're gonna
so-
adjourn.
We're-
Wait a minute.